At 8 a.m.
It's that time again.
Something told me to turn on the radio.
It's showtime!
This is great. It's a nice break.
This guy, Todd.
Mondays or Friday.
Getting restless?
5 to 7.
All right, I'm listening. Let's start the show.
It's the Evening Edge with Todd Hollst.
Call me now, 937-457-1290.
Locally grown, seriously funny on WHIO.
Oh, Todd, you got off the couch today. So we're gonna give you just a little bit of praise. A little bit of praise just for you. Well, you actually got off your couch today. You know we gotta give you praise. Sing that name. Oh, Todd, we praise you.
It is the Evening Edge, Monday through Friday, 5 to 7. Live stream is up on Facebook and YouTube. And it was a bit of a struggle getting off the couch today. I was up late last night watching the coverage of that tragedy in Washington, D.C., the plane crashing into the Army helicopter. I believe it was a Black Hawk. I heard that last night. I think that might have been confirmed today. Just horrible. And if you've seen the video, and I'm sure many of you have, regardless of what communication may have taken place, it looked to me like that helicopter just shot right up, took off, and I don't know if anybody had any chance to react. Just awful, just awful. And it's been a very, very long time since we've had a tragedy like that, a plane crash of that nature here in the United States. I don't know when the last one happened, but it's got to be more than 10 years, I would think, right? I don't think we've had anything like that for a bit. And of course, I remember the accident, man, I can't remember the date, but it was, Ian, could you look that up? Potomac airline accident, 1980s. I remember being at home after school and watching that, where a plane crashed into the Potomac, and I believe there were survivors. But man, oh man, just a terrible, terrible incident. Was it? Hop on there, Ian. What was? When was it?
Yeah, it was on January 13th, 1982. An Air Florida Boeing 737-222 plunges into the Potomac River in Washington, killing 78 people. Caused by bad weather, took place only 2 miles from the White House.
Wow, were there survivors at all?
For
some reason, I thought that I could be wrong. It was a long time ago, and honestly, I didn't look it up before I got on the air. It just popped into my head.
Yeah, it says, and a search and rescue that saved lives on this same partially frozen Potomac River.
Right, and if I recall, there was video of somebody crawling out on the ice or something like that.
Sounds terrifying.
Yeah. Well, I just remember because it happened. You know, what happened last night happened and it was dark. The accident that happened back then happened in the afternoon and it was still light out. And I really do believe that there were people that were, traveling close to the Potomac, probably going or coming home from work, or I don't remember exactly what time, but I want to say there were people who were trying to help and maybe crawling out onto the ice or something like that, but just terrible. And all 67 people on the flight last night are presumed dead. The last I heard, I think they had recovered about 20 bodies, but that was maybe early this morning. I'm not sure where that stands now. We may get a report later. We don't know. We're going to keep monitoring this, of course. And any new information that we have throughout the show tonight, we will certainly share that with you. Last night during the show, I was we were talking about speeding ticket excuses because we had a story of a guy in I think it was Massachusetts maybe or Connecticut, where he got stopped for going 130 and he told the trooper that he was rushing home because he wanted to see his cat. So last night we started with a cat story, but during the show when we were talking about that, on Channel 7, they were doing a story about feral cats. in one part of the area. And this is up in Pleasant Hill, Miami County, the village of Pleasant Hill. Apparently, they've had a feral cat problem for quite a while. And they said that they estimated that there were 200 cats in the village at the end of last summer. 200 cats. Now, I've been through Pleasant Hill. It's not a very big place. 200 cats seems like a lot, right? Of course. But the thing that just shocked me is after they wrapped up that particular package, that story, Cheryl McHenry was on TV, and she was talking about feral cats in other parts of the Miami Valley and other communities that have dealt with this. And she mentioned, and I saw her in the hallway today before the show, and I said, can you confirm? I think you said this, that the mayor of Cedarville, and this isn't, I don't think this was recently, maybe a year or so ago, reported that at one time there were 1,000 stray cats living in and around Cedarville. 1,000. And I thought that was like, you've got to be kidding. That is crazy. There's probably cats on every street corner. Again, I've been through Cedarville, not very big. And it is kind of a rural area. There is that, little downtown. It's a beautiful place. But you can be through downtown Cedarville in about 2 minutes if the light's green, But 1,000 cats. But then she went on to say in her story that Ohio has an estimated 70 million feral cats. Now, I'll admit we've had some issues with a cat in our neighborhood. And it's not feral though. See, when I think of feral cats, I think of cats, and maybe this is the definition, or maybe somebody knows the definition. They're just basically like wild cats, right? They're just cats that were born in the wild because a couple of house cats got together, had a good time, and suddenly there's a litter of 10 cats or whatever. And these cats that survive, they're feral cats. They've never lived inside. They're out there just doing their thing. But this cat belongs to a neighbor because we know we know where it runs whenever I scare it. Whenever it's on our back deck, looking in the window or leaving their effervescent scent underneath the deck. If I catch wind of that, I'm out there trying to scare it to get it go back. And it always runs to the same house. And I think this is just a case of somebody, just let the cat out. It'll come back. Yeah, But we don't really have, at least in my neighborhood, I've not seen an abundant number of feral cats, or what I would consider feral. I think the cats that are in our neighborhood, they belong to people, and the people just let them go outside and don't care what they do or where they go or what sort of mayhem they create for their neighbors. But I was wondering if there's a particular community, maybe in your neighborhood, where this is a problem. I mean, we mentioned the Pleasant Hill village of Pleasant Hill in Miami County. We mentioned Cedarville. I do remember when we lived in Xenia, we had more feral cats. Again, I don't know if they were feral cats. They might have been neighbor cats, because a lot of the cats that I recall seeing, and like I said, the ones in my neighborhood now, they all have collars. So I guess a feral cat could have a collar, but most feral cats probably don't. But I'm just curious if, like, in your area, you've been dealing with this. I saw a video this morning, and it had nothing to do with feral cats. It had to do with a neighbor's cat who found an open window and crawled into the neighbor's house and basically was just roaming the house. They caught it on video, going for the cat food or the dog food or whatever it was. And this cat apparently has done that a number of times. And they know who the cat belongs to, but that neighbor just doesn't care, just doesn't, keep their cat inside. This cat just roams free, breaking into homes. I bet that's not the only house that cat has broken into. A literal cat burglar. But I'd just be curious if you live in a neighborhood where that's a problem. 937-457-1290. And if it is, if let's just say it's not necessarily a feral cat, because who can you complain to about that other than the city and animal control, I guess? But how do you deal with your neighbor's cats? If your neighbor's letting their cats out to just roam free and they're causing havoc at your place, all I do is scare them. I just run outside and go, "Rah!" Make myself as large as I can, like I'm encountering a bear. And usually that scares them. Or at times I'm being honest here, I will throw ice in their direction. I don't throw it at them. I just kind of throw it in their direction. And when it lands, 3 or 4 feet away, they're like, oh, I better go. I will admit that I do that. And I'm sure there's cat people out there like, how dare he? But you got to keep them out of your yard, especially when you got dogs. The dogs don't like it. The dogs go berserk. 937-457-1290. We got Marcia in Farmersville. Hey, Marcia.
Hey,
how you doing?
Folks, when you call in, turn your radio down.
Turn your radio down, Marcia.
Okay. All right. Got it. Sorry about
That's
that.
all right.
Yeah, we have a cat problem in Farmersville, Ohio. I don't know if you know where that is.
I do.
Okay. It's a rural community, but there is a small town. And unfortunately, we know who the culprits of the problem are.
The cat culprits.
Yeah. There's 2 homes that are like breeding farms. And, it's just crazy. I mean, I didn't know cats could have like 3 and 4 litters, but they can.
Yeah.
And then their babies, like at 3 months old, can start to have babies. So it's really crazy.
And I don't know what you do about that other than calling animal control. And I don't know how quickly they respond to something like that. I don't know.
It's become kind of a community effort because we have a lot of good-hearted people that have caught some of the adult cats and taken them into the local vet, and he's been kind enough to neuter them.
Right.
So it's become kind of a community group effort to try to reduce the problem ourselves. But it's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, they've multiplied a lot.
Yeah, they're like rabbits. Oh,
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's out of control.
Yeah, it's crazy.
All right, Marcia, I got to fly. I appreciate your call.
All right.
Have a good one.
Take care. Bye-bye.
If you got a comment, 937-457-1290.
It's the Evening Edge with Todd Hollst.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
He's a good guy, a hero.
Oh, he's a keeper.
It's fun listening. It's a good ride, but there's never any real danger.
Give it some time, man. You'll realize.
You'll see. He'll grow on you. Locally grown, seriously funny on WHIO.
Hey, everybody. I like that idea, Ron. Yeah, gas blower. Dee, 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 dee. So my wife just got home. I got to mention this. I, oh, brother. Mary just sent me a picture of a feral cat in our yard she just took. Oh, my God. Or somebody's cat. Yes, Ron, the geese finally left. Lordy, lordy. Hey, we had another car into a building. I guess it happened a few days ago, though.
Is this yours?
Yeah.
I'll put stuff on it.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
30 now. Back to the Evening Edge with Todd Hollst on 1290 at 95.7 WHIO.
I'm just trying to make a living.
The Evening Edge with Todd Hollst.
Call Todd now, 937-457-1290, or message him at Evening Edge Todd.
Locally grown, seriously funny on WHIO.
Back here on the Evening Edge, Monday through Friday, 5 to 7, talking about feral cats. Channel 7 did a story last night during this show that I only watched sort of through the corner of my eyes, or out of the corner of my eye. And at one point, I guess the city of Cedarville, the mayor says they had 1,000 stray cats at one time. Pleasant Hill, Village of Pleasant Hill, Miami County, they're dealing with it. They've got a couple hundred. My wife just sent me a picture, literally, as we're doing the show, because she was listening, a cat in our backyard. Not our cat. Do you have feral cat problem? 937-457-1290. Lisa in Waynesville. Hey, Lisa.
Oh, hi. Good afternoon to you, sir.
Hey.
Hey, I live near the village of Spring Valley, and they have the home of the Potato Festival.
Yeah.
A little bit east of Bellbrook.
Right.
It's a village, and I would venture to say there's probably easily around 800 to 1,000 cats there. And I think some of the issue is not so much that they're breeding, but people will bring their unwanted cats from other towns and just dump them down there because they know they'll be taken care of. But I don't know what the solution is. I know that spay and neuter, but that's an awful lot of spay and neutering.
Yeah, and I don't think every vet is just going to do that for free, especially if there's, hundreds, if not 1,000, right?
No, and I'm surprised, we do have quite a bit of coyotes. I'm surprised I think some of it's been reduced because coyotes have come in there and had easy meals. Hate to say that, but
yeah.
But and cats are, I don't want to say opportunists, but they are survivors. But I don't know honestly, I don't know what the answers are. But everybody complains, but nobody really, does anything about it. And then you have your people that are compassionate and want to feed them.
Yeah, some communities are certainly trying, but it's not an easy situation, Lisa. I appreciate your call. If you got a comment on that, 937-457-1290. We've got a car into a building to talk about. Also, a couple of stories, people using food as a weapon.
It's the Evening Edge with Todd Hollst.
Call Todd now, 937-457-1290, or message him at Evening Edge Todd.
Locally grown, seriously funny on WHIO.
Oh. Excuse me. Tim, you threw food at somebody and got arrested? Wow. What'd you throw? What kind of food was it?
Problems of the world are not in my department.
Now who would like a cookie? It's the Evening Edge with Todd Hollst.
Call me at 457-1290.
Locally grown, seriously funny on WHIO.
Start the car. You crashed the car. In local news, a spectacular car crash.
Car.
Back here on the Evening Edge, Monday through Friday, 5 to 7. Shout out to Edgehead Andrew. Sent me a photo. This is this happened at a bar in West Carrollton called Down the Pike. And he says he took this picture on the 22nd, so I don't exactly know when it occurred. A car crashed into the back patio. Now, we count that because it's no different than a car crashing into the front of the porch of a house. And it took out a concrete block wall, did some damage to some of the supports. So that is number six on your list. If you're keeping track, cars crashing into buildings. Tomorrow night on the show, we only have an hour show tomorrow night because we have UD basketball. And somebody requested some parodies the other day, and they asked, where can we find your parodies? And I said, well, some of them are online, some of them aren't. I won't go into all the reasons why, but that's the case. And I thought, well, why not? Why don't we do a show since tomorrow night we just have that hour? Parody Palooza. So tomorrow night, we'll play some parodies. We'll take your requests, and we'll just sort of, I guess, feature them. 937-457-1290. Let's talk to Alan in Vandalia. Hey, Alan.
Hey, how you doing, Todd?
I'm doing well. What's going on? Do you have a feral cat problem?
Well, I did.
Uh-oh.
So
how'd you take care of it?
this is my deal. I love cats.
Yeah.
I had them growing up. I have dogs now.
Mm-hmm.
But these cats, these feral cats, and some of them do have collars on them, but they're still wild. They stay outside.
Yeah.
Neighbors are feeding them. They was told by the cops to quit feeding them because we finally complained enough. They're still feeding them.
Yeah.
They have to take their dish away at night. A lot of them's not doing it. And they're very adamant about feeding all these cats. My problem is when I was mowing, guess what I stepped in? I had to pick it up.
Yeah.
And those type of cats, their fecal smells a lot different than regular cats.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a big problem. And we used to live by some people that would feed the feral cats in the neighborhood. And what we discovered after that, or when, once we started seeing them do that, is we started noticing mice and more mice. Like we had a mouse problem in the house that we were living that we had never had previously. And I don't know that the two are connected, but the thing that I've always heard is that when people leave food out for animals, whether it be cats or, stray cats or stray, whatever it is, right? That attracts other rodents because it's food. Yeah. It's right out there in the open. Nobody's watching. And they just move right in. They're like, hey, well, let's go down the street here. They've got tender vittles out there for us. That's how nice of them. It's
And I took pictures of skunks about every morning.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So the skunks are eating it too.
Yeah. And
the food don't even have to be there; just the smell, and they'll come around it.
Right.
But that was my problem stepping in. I was renting a house. Thank God I was renting it.
Yeah.
Because I took care of the problem. I moved. And where I moved to, nobody's feeding them. I see one here or there, but we don't have the problems no more.
Yeah, I appreciate your call, Alan. Have a good one. I don't know that I've not seen anybody in our neighborhood feeding the feral cats or any wild animals. So I don't know that that's a big problem for us, but you just never know. I did find a mouse recently in one of our Christmas boxes that we, store our Christmas stuff in. It was kept outside, and we have a shed, and it was kept out there. So but I've never seen that in the house that we're living in. So who knows? I don't know. We have a couple of stories of people using food as weapons. So
why are people throwing food at you? It's criminal.
We don't waste food around here.
Food is not a weapon.
Put down the pickle. I was attacked with bologna.
Floating mashed tater ball.
If you persist in throwing food, I'm going to have to ask you to leave.
Well, if you've been listening to this show for any length of time, you understand that I really strongly believe that food ought not ever be used as a weapon. But from time to time, we have somebody who decides to weaponize food. The first story comes from, actually both are in Florida. Shockingly. And I will admit that this is not so much, it's kind of food, but it's food remnants or food adjacent. So just bear with me. I will say the ranch dressing is certainly food. A 19-year-old Wingstop manager in Port St. Lucie, Florida, is facing felony charges after she doused two customers who she says were causing disruption and being loud. She doused them with ranch dressing. Apparently, they got into some sort of argument there at the counter, and one of the customers admittedly being disruptive and loud, knocked over a straw dispenser onto the ground. Just being a jerk. It was at that point this 19-year-old Wingstop manager threw some ranch dressing on her. But that wasn't enough. After she doused them with the ranch dressing, this manager went back into the kitchen and returned with a bucket of hot grease and threw the bucket of hot grease on these two customers. Store security footage reviewed by police showed the individual trying to hold back the manager, but she pushes forward and throws the liquid in the bucket. The manager reportedly justified her actions to police by stating that the customers were being, quote, verbally abusive and knocked over the straws. That's not justification. The manager was arrested and charged with aggravated battery and aggravated child abuse because one of the victims was a kid. And both felonies. So now she's facing multiple felonies for tossing ranch dressing and hot grease. Now, the second story, this is also down in Florida. See, where's it at in Florida? It doesn't say in this particular copy of the story, but an ex-con is facing charges after he attacked his roommate with a bologna sandwich. The 29-year-old convicted felon was arrested Sunday following a confrontation with his roommate over the accused man's use of a PlayStation 5. Cops say the male victim told them he removed the gaming system from the Bologna attacker's bedroom because he was, quote, being too loud while playing. The victim stated that the defendant became aggressive and began to yell at him. The victim said that while he was being yelled at, the aggressor threw a bologna sandwich at him. You don't waste bologna sandwiches. Come on, people. It ultimately hit him in the center of the chest. The man, of course, had no visible injuries, but he did call the police. And apparently the bologna strike was recorded on his phone. I haven't seen the video. We should try to reenact that one night, Ian. Some sort of bologna battery, right? We could do that. But here's the thing. The guy who threw the bologna sandwich was on probation at the time. And he confessed that he did throw the bologna. He was on probation because previously he has 2 other battery convictions. The first time was in 2022. He had a violent encounter with a 60-year-old man with a knife, and he also shoved his sister after he became upset while he was playing a video game. Apparently the video game, he was losing or something happened. He became angry and he lashed out at the 60-year-old guy and his sister. Then a year later, same guy, the bologna batterer, pleaded no contest to choking his sister during a dispute that in part stemmed from him playing video games. This guy he's got a problem with video games. An anger issue with video games. I bet he's one of those guys. You see, sometimes you'll see this on videos like on TikTok or Reels or wherever, where somebody is playing video games, they get angry, and they throw something at the screen. That's what he's got a problem. Doesn't say what game he was playing, though. I'd be curious, video gamers out there, which game gives you the most angst, where you would feel inclined to throw something at the TV? I think the only game that ever really gave me that sort of angst, probably Red Dead Redemption 2. You get to a certain level, it was just really hard. Or it could be Call of Duty. I'm not sure. Hit me up. Oh, that's the wrong number.
It's
There's
the
a button.
Evening Edge with Todd Hollst.
Call Todd now, 937-457-1290, or message him at Evening Edge Todd.
Locally grown, seriously funny on WHIO.
That was an air ball. I didn't hit either of the baskets. Holy cow. What was I? What? Man. I don't even think it hit the wall, Leslie. It just landed on the ground next to the trash. Shameful. Shameful. Oh, by the way, here's the picture of the car that hit the down the pike. I don't think that white vehicle is the vehicle that hit it, obviously, but that's the damage. So thank you, Andrew, for sending that. Floor ball, floor ball, floor ball. Here's another one. Oh, missed that one. Oh, I didn't have the camera on, but I missed that one. 0 for 2. Zach, you said you emailed me. I have to envision. I need to sort of think of myself throwing a bologna sandwich at somebody. Maybe that would help. Let's see. An email. You sent me an email. Here we go. 8 minutes of gamer rage. Love it. I love that. That's funny. Thank you, Zach. That's awesome. That's hysterical. I mean, I've been frustrated when I've played video games. I get it, but not ever to the point of trying to strangle somebody. Really? Death threats on Call of Duty. Well, let's see here. Let me find it real quick. All right, let's see if I can put it in the live stream. There it is.
Or visit mcair.com. This is WHIO Dayton and WHIO FM Pleasant Hill. All news, all the time.
A vape containing THC is found in a Vandalia school. We'll have the latest at 6. Now back to the Evening Edge with Todd Hollst on 1290 and 95.7 WHIO.
At best, you're an underachiever at a local radio station.
The Evening Edge with Todd Hollst.
Call Todd now, 937-457-1290, or message him at Evening Edge Todd.
Locally grown, seriously funny on WHIO.
There is a wild side to every animal.
Here's something you like when animals attack magicians.
Animals took revenge.
Animals attack! Craziest animal attack story.
You're about to find out when animals attack.
Back here on the Evening Edge, Monday through Friday, 5 to 7. So I've got this story. We've talked about a lot of different types of animal attacks. Bear attacks, buffalo attacks, out at the Yellowstone. That's a big one. All kinds of unusual animal attacks. I don't think we've ever talked about a kangaroo attack. This happened this past Wednesday in, Emerald, Australia. A guy walked out to his car, I guess, to go to work. And out in front of his house in his front yard were two kangaroos. When he walked out, one took off. The other one, I guess, told the other kangaroo, "Hey, I got this." And this poor guy, he's in his 50s. This poor guy was attacked by this kangaroo that it was estimated to be, holy cow, over 6.5 feet tall and weighing about 220 pounds. This guy got a beat down from this kangaroo. Left him with serious lacerations to his hip, arms, and chest. And fortunately, a neighbor saw this happen and came to give him life-saving assistance. Otherwise, he could have bled out. But now police are warning folks that there are a couple of, two. A couple. Don't know if they're a couple, but there's two kangaroos causing havoc there in Emerald, Australia.
It's the Evening Edge with Todd Hollst.
Call Todd now, 937-457-1290, or message him at Evening Edge Todd.
Locally grown, seriously funny on WHIO.
Live from the WHIO News Center, this is Miami Valley.
Man, I can't imagine Kangaroo Attack. Thank you, Ron.
Our next scheduled news in less than 15 minutes and immediately when it breaks. I'm Ron Otto, 1290 at 95.7 WHIO, Dayton's News and Talk. Depend on it.
This is a WHIO payroll payout alert.
Thank you, thank you.
$1,000 tomorrow morning at 8 a.m.
I'm looking for the dude by the name of Todd.
He's a local boy.
He's a clever boy. He's got the microphone. He's got all the firepower he needs, and he ain't afraid to use it.
We heard about your broadcast.
Woo! It's like Fruit Loops. Okay, let's get this started.
It's the Evening Edge with Todd Hollst.
Call me now, 937-457-1290.
Locally grown, seriously funny on WHIO.
Why can't you accept me for what I am? Why? Why?
It is the Evening Edge, Monday through Friday, 6th. Let me start that again. It is the Evening Edge, Monday through Friday, from 5 to 7. Watch the live stream on Facebook and YouTube. So we were talking about feral cats last hour. We had a story. Channel 7 did a story about the village of Mount Pleasant. They had about 200 feral cats. They've come up with a plan to get rid of them. I guess it's the catch and spay. I think that's what they're doing. But part of their report, Cheryl McHenry was relaying a story that maybe a year or two ago, they did a story about feral cats, but in Cedarville. And at that time, the mayor of Cedarville told Channel 7 that they had an estimated 1,000 feral cats roaming throughout the city of Cedarville. I've been through Cedarville. It's not a huge place. It's a lovely town. But holy cow. I bet there's a lot of cows, speaking of cows, in and around Cedarville. I bet there are more feral cats than cows. That's insane. So we've been chatting about that. We also had a story about a Florida man who got arrested for throwing bologna. And it had to do with, I guess, some frustration over video games. And this is his third conviction of a crime of that level of battery because of video games. And then Edgehead Zach sent me this great video I shared on the live stream. It's 8 minutes of nothing but video game rage, where people playing the games, they lose, they make a mistake, whatever it is, and they just go bananas. And it's precious. It's precious. So that's what we got going. I got a couple other things to talk about this hour, but let's talk to wrong mouse. I got 3 mice in here. Not mice. I have 3 mouses. One for that computer with all the sound effects, one for the live stream, and one for the calls. And sometimes it's I get them mixed up. We got Todd in Sydney. Hey, Todd.
Hello.
Hey, how you doing?
Doing great. I love your show, Todd.
Thank you so much. Now, I have to ask, are you part of the Todd Lodge on Facebook?
No, I'm computer illiterate. So.
Oh, okay. See, I was going to say if you were on Facebook, you could look for the Todd Lodge because it's a lodge I started for guys named Todd.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So what's up, man?
About your cab problem.
Yeah.
We had a bad one here in Sydney. I would live trap cats.
Yeah.
And would take them to the rich part of town where all the mayor, the city council members, and all those people live.
Okay.
And I would dump them off because in 3 months I dumped 36 of them.
Oh my gosh. You were offering a relocation service for the cats.
Well, it's kind of like the Jeffersons.
Right. Moving on up.
to the
Sure.
east side.
Yeah. I get it.
They had better food, all that mulch, all them nice lawns.
Yeah, sure.
Once they started experiencing it, then it became a problem for the rest of the town.
That is quite often the case, right? When it's in one part of the town and it's not in the part of the town where the power people live, that's a shame. We'll see what we can do about it. But when it's in your backyard, we need to do something now. That's the way it works. That's the way it works. Did they take care of it though? Did they deal with the problem?
Oh, finally, they have that program where they would neuter them and clip their ear.
Ah, gotcha.
But in all honesty, they're still there. They're still crap.
Yeah.
They're still eating all the wildlife. So that really does not solve anything.
No, I got you. Yeah, it's just it's a real problem for communities, and people want to be humane. They want to try to save these cats, and I understand that. I mean, I'm not a cat person, but I certainly I love animals. But man, it's a tough deal, Todd. I appreciate your call, buddy. Let's talk to Wayne in Franklin. Hey, Wayne.
Hey, Todd. Great show as always.
Thank you so much.
The only trouble I ever got in was at an arcade, and we have to go back into history. 1984 at the Dayton Mall, across the street from the Dayton Mall.
Yeah.
Can you remember Malibu Grand Prix?
Oh yeah, I loved Malibu Grand Prix. I had a license to race those little cars, those little go-karts.
And that's what got me in trouble. They had that big weekend, and I won it.
Oh.
And the guy that got second turned into a free-for-all.
Oh, no.
Oh, it was nasty. I was like 17 years old.
Yeah.
And, man, it got crazy that afternoon.
Yeah, I can imagine. I loved going out there, and you could see it from 75. And I remember whenever we drive by, I'm like, oh, look at those cool go-karts, and I finally got a license. I never got to drive the big ones. They had smaller go-karts, but I was never, I think they closed by the time that maybe I was old enough to drive the bigger ones. But that's a cool memory. Somewhere I think I still have my license.
Yeah, and they turned it into the drive-in.
Into the what?
That? Into a drive-in.
Did they really?
After it closed up, yeah, I-75 drive-in.
I don't remember that.
It was there until all the stores started building up. Yeah, that was a drive-in.
Huh. I don't remember that. Well, thank you, Wayne. I appreciate that. Have a good one. Let's talk to Brenda in Lewisburg. Hey, Brenda.
Hey, I asked your screener, is there ever a time where you're calling too much? And he said no.
No, I'm fine with it. Look, this is how I think about this show, Brenda. All us edgeheads, we're all friends. We're all part of this little tribe. And it's sort of like we're hanging out at your favorite restaurant or bar or maybe on somebody's back patio. And we're all just having conversations about crazy stuff that we see in the news or, stuff that's going on in the neighborhood. And tonight we're talking in large part about feral cats. So it's all good.
Well, thank you for that. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
This is right up my alley.
Excellent.
Because I called you about a year and a half ago when a feral cat was dying in my backyard. And I had to end up paying for this feral cat which I'm allergic to cats. I don't own them.
I remember
that.
that.
In my yard.
I
but
remember
I had
that.
to pay $165 to put this cat down humanely.
Oh, man.
Okay, so as I'm looking out my window, I just got done unloading some stuff out of my car.
Yeah.
I see what? A cat in my hatch because I didn't get my hatch down quick enough.
It got into your car? It got into your
sink right in my car.
Oh, no.
Now, Todd had a great idea on taking the cats to the mayor and council people. Not such a great idea when your sister's the mayor and your twin sister's on council.
Well, there you go. They'd know that. They'd be, I know who did this. It's that Brenda. Yeah, it was that Brenda who did it.
Not mayor anymore, and they're not on council. But
yeah,
I love that what Todd did. That was a great idea. What he did, taking those cats.
Hey, while I got you, can I ask you a question?
Absolutely.
Do you read romance novels?
I don't read them, but I am a Hallmark fan.
Well, I saw this study. It was a survey that was done by a company called Thrift Books, and they were trying to find out exactly who the romance novel audience is. Okay.
Okay.
Now, what would you think? What would you think? Who do you think is like the audience for romance novels? Is it the guys or is it the gals?
Absolutely the gals. And I say at least 40 and up.
Okay. The survey of 200 American romance readers revealed that 63% of men surveyed considered themselves diehard romance enthusiasts compared to 60% of women.
Huh.
It says that men spend more time reading romance literature. On average, the study found that men will spend 364 hours a year immersed in the genre, while women will spend about 312 hours per year.
Wow, I would have never guessed that.
I have never. Now, I got to admit, I am not a big reader when it comes to like nonfiction because all I do all day is read.
Right.
Read and write when I put the show together or I'm, putting stuff together for promotions. I mean, when I go home, I don't want to read. I'm done reading,
I understand that.
But I've never read a romance novel. Never in my life.
Guessed it would have been the men and that much.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
It is crazy.
Now let me ask you this. If I know you said you watch more than you read, you watch the romance, the Hallmark movies and that sort of thing.
I do.
If you would read a book and it's a romance novel, and let's just assume it's about a man and a woman, right?
Absolutely. There's only a man and a woman.
When you picture the man, who do you picture? Do you picture a spouse? Do you picture a celebrity crush? Or who? Anybody?
I'll have to say both spouse and Vince Gill.
Vince Gill. Okay. Now, let me ask you, are you Gen X or are you baby boomer? Where do you fall?
I am at the tail end of baby boomer.
Okay.
I just turned 63 in January.
So according to the same survey, when the love interest is a man, the celebrity most commonly pictured is, for baby boomers, Brad Pitt.
No.
Well, not for you.
Yeah, he's a dirty dog.
And for Gen X, Channing Tatum.
I know who she is, but I don't know much about. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's a little.
Now, for baby boomers, if it's a female, protagonist, if you will, the celebrity that they most think of is Halle Berry.
I can see that.
Yeah. And Gen Xers, I'm a Gen Xer, Angelina Jolie.
Who?
Angelina Jolie.
Oh yeah, I can see that too.
Yeah, she's a little crazy.
Sure
she's a little crazy though.
A very nice person.
Yeah, she's a little crazy. I think she's a little crazy.
we're keeping it clean, Todd.
Yeah, we are. All right, Brenda. Well, thank you for chatting with me. Appreciate it.
I appreciate your time, and please tell Mary hello.
I will. 937-457-1290 if you got a comment on that. We also have a Dumb Ways to Die, and if you're a licorice lover, you'll want to hear it.
It's the Evening Edge with Todd Hollst.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
He's a good guy, a hero.
Oh, he's a keeper. It's fun listening. It's a good ride, but there's never any real danger.
Give it some time, man. You'll realize.
You'll see, he'll grow on you. Locally grown, seriously funny on WHIO.
Tim, I couldn't disagree with you more. Sometimes when I'm craving a cheeseburger, or more than likely a double cheeseburger, I get a double cheeseburger wherever it might be, whether it's drive-through or a restaurant, or like sit-down restaurant. I will get a double cheeseburger with only mayo and pickle, extra pickles. I'm talking like 8 or 9 pickles, sliced pickles. So good. $59. Aaron, you are a baby boomer. I want to say the Gen X is like 60, 65 or 67 or something like that. Gen X ages. Yeah, if you were born between 65 and 80, you would be a Gen Xer. I was born in 69. Well, Ashley, you're going to want to hear this. My wife, but I'll tell you what, Tim, my wife agrees with you. She either orders it without pickles, okay, or she orders it and then takes the pickles off. And then sometimes we'll eat the pickles, but she won't eat them on her burger. Are they? I've never thought of a pickle being a palate cleanser. I guess it could be. Never thought of it that way. Heather, you do? With Kyle? Awesome. Awesome.
Another NFL player faces allegations at massage parlors. The latest at 6:30. Now back to the Evening Edge with Todd Hollst on 1290 at 95.7 WHIO.
From a psychological standpoint, the radio station represents a link to normalcy.
The Evening Edge with Todd Hollst.
Call Todd now, 937-457-1290, or message him at Evening Edge Todd.
Locally grown, seriously funny on WHIO.
Back here on the Evening Edge, Monday through Friday from 5 to 7. Looking forward to that story from Ron. NFL player, bad behavior at massage parlors. You can't see me, but my face, I'm in shock. What? That happens quite frequently, doesn't it? 937-457-1290. I think the guy who owned, who was it? Is it the Dolphin? Who was it? One of the NFL, it was, Robert Kraft. Wasn't it that? It was him. He had some issues at a massage parlor. Edgehead Tim and Tara on the live stream are having a heated debate right now, apparently, as to whether or not pickles should be served on cheeseburgers. Now, this is a no-brainer to me. In fact, sometimes I will just get a cheeseburger or a double cheeseburger with nothing but mayo and pickles, extra pickles. I think pickles 100% on a burger. However, my wife is the opposite. She will order it with no pickles, or she will order the burger with pickles, take the pickles off, eat the pickles, or sometimes she'll let me eat her pickles. But sometimes she just doesn't like it on the burger. Now, one thing that Tim mentioned, and I've never heard of this, is that the pickle considered a palate cleanser? Like you would eat a pickle in between courses or bites of differing things? Is that what it is? I've never heard of that. I've never heard of the pickle being a palate cleanser. Real quickly, Larry in South Charleston. Hey, Larry.
How you doing, Todd?
Good. What's up, man?
Oh, pretty good. Hey, here's a fun fact. Istanbul, Turkey, if you ever go there, they've got all kinds of cats out there, but the entire city population takes care of the cats. They put food out for them, and they care for them.
So they don't really do anything to try to stop the feral cat problem. They just encourage it.
Well, no, it's just something, it's a tradition in that city. Huh. I mean, the cats are out there, and we would call them feral, but they're all, I saw, I've seen videos of this. These cats all look in really good shape, and people will put food out for them, and they care for them.
Interesting. Okay. All right, Larry, I appreciate the info. I guess it sounds a little bit like the village of Mount Pleasant. Is that what's going on there? People are doing that too? Or Cedarville, their 1,000 cat problem.
It's the Evening Edge with Todd Hollst.
Call Todd now, 937-457-1290, or message him at Evening Edge Todd.
Locally grown, seriously funny on WHIO.
All right, got a couple of shots coming up here. I don't think I've made one, have I? There we go. There we go. It feels better. All right, I'm going to get to my dumb ways to die. People are eagerly anticipating. Ron, I don't remember Red Barn in Xenia, though I'm sure there was one there. I remember the Red Barn that was on Woodman. I think it's where there's a car wash there, like a do-it-yourself car wash on Woodman. Sort of between the it's not next to the UDF. It's next to, I think, maybe a marathon station and a drive-through. I do know there was a bread barn on Woodman. I just can't remember where. I think it was in that area. See you, Zach. Thanks for watching tonight.
Be of good cheer and call me.
Call me now. Call me.
He's laughing at us right on the radio.
Least we could do is get him on the radio and talk to him. It's the Evening Edge with Todd Hollst.
Call me at 457-1290.
Locally grown, seriously funny on WHIO.
Back here on the Evening Edge, Monday through Friday, 5 to 7. Live stream up on Facebook and YouTube. Tomorrow night on the show, we only have an hour together because it's the UD basketball. So somebody asked earlier in the week, they wanted to hear the Urbana parody song that I did. And then somebody followed up with an email asking if they are posted anywhere. Some of them are posted on YouTube. Others are not. So I thought tomorrow night, just for the heck of it, because it's a Friday night, we got 1 hour together. It's going to be Parody Palooza. So if you got a favorite parody you want to hear, you're more than welcome to call in and request it. Though I think it's probably pretty much going to just be me. Because I don't know that anybody's going to call and request one of the parodies. Maybe they would. But I, my wife asked me, I told her I was going to do this. She goes, well, how many do you think you've done? I said, I don't know. I've lost track. I haven't really counted them. I just do them. And then, I save them and I play them from time to time. But I would say between 15 and 20. The time I've been doing the show. Started in the fall of 2018 on Sundays. Did one show a week. But I still did them then. And then when I started doing afternoons, kept it going. Now I'll admit I don't do as many as I used to. Because it takes a lot of time. And I've got other stuff that I'm doing as well. But so anyway, that's going to happen tomorrow night. We have a Dumb Ways to Die.
Dumb ways to die. So many dumb ways to die. Dumb ways to die. So many dumb ways to die.
Now, when we talk about dumb ways to die, we're not making fun of these people and their untimely demise. We're merely sharing their story as a cautionary tale for you when you're out and about running around in the wild. You pay attention to what's going on and you make good decisions, because otherwise you can end up like one of these folks. And this caught my attention because one of my favorite candies, and I don't honestly eat a lot of candy. Because it can become a problem, but one of my favorite treats of all time is black licorice. I love black licorice, whether it's actually like the little chunky black licorice, you can get those little black licorice bites, or strips of black licorice. I even like the Necco wafer black licorice flavor. Love them. I can't get enough of it. That's why I don't eat it very often. I did have some over the holidays, though. That was a nice little treat. But doctors report in the New England Journal of Medicine that a Massachusetts man died after eating enormous amounts of black licorice. Now, how much is too much, you ask? Have you ever asked that, like, whatever snack it is, whether it's licorice or cookies or chips or whatever, like how much is too much? Yes, if you eat too much of something in one sitting, you're going to have a stomach ache. You're going to feel bad. It can mess with your sugar levels, right? It can cause all kinds of problems. It can keep you awake. It can make you sick. Doctors say the man, for 2 weeks leading up to his death, ate a bag and a half of black licorice every day. Every day. For 14 days. A bag and a half of black licorice. Now, it doesn't say how big of a bag of licorice, but if you go to the grocery store, I don't think they're talking about a little snack pack. Probably a good size bag of licorice. Doctors added that if it were any other candy, he likely would have been okay aside from gaining weight. But I didn't know this. Black licorice contains something called and I'm going to botch it. So glycylrahizic acid. Is that right? Glycylrahizic it has that in it, which can lower the body's potassium to deadly levels, causing issues with the heart's rhythm. And that's what happened to the guy after the 2 weeks of eating the bag and a half of licorice every day. Black licorice, not red licorice, black licorice. He collapsed while at a fast food restaurant. So clearly this he's healthy eating, but he collapsed and then sadly died the next day. And doctors discovered that his potassium was dangerously low, which led to heart problems that caused his death. So this guy died from eating too much black licorice. I'd be curious to know if there's another food that is similar to that. Like if you eat too much of it, those high quantities. I don't know. I don't know if there's something, like, can you eat too much popcorn? Too many Fritos? Bag and a half a day? I don't know. Cardiologist in the article explained that even a small amount of black licorice you eat can increase your blood pressure a bit. I didn't know that either. Aware of black licorice's dangerous qualities, the FDA has warned that eating 2 ounces of the candy every day for 2 weeks could cause an irregular heartbeat. So they've known about this. Interesting. Had no idea. But that is definitely a dumb ways to die. We've got some science news.
Consider the following: miscellaneous and wondrous things.
You see, it's a matter of science, lad. Come here, I'll show you.
Brilliant.
Blah, blah, blah. Science.
How can scientific truth be heresy?
What did the great man of science have to say today?
Well, I got 2 stories here. Both I find very interesting. The world's biggest iceberg is on the loose, and it's threatening to collide with a tiny South Atlantic island, potentially affecting the wildlife there. Known as A23A, the 1,400 square mile iceberg. 1,400 square miles. That is one big iceberg. Had been stuck on the ocean floor near Antarctica for 37 years after it split in 1986 from the Antarctic's Filchner ice shelf. But it began to move again last year and is now approaching South Georgia Island, a small island mainly populated by penguins and seals. The iceberg might hit the island in 2 to 4 weeks, depending on the current of the ocean and its path. May follow the current around the continental shelf of the island and not ground at all, as other icebergs have done. Or it could ground on the shallow waters of the continental shelf as an iceberg did in 2004. The populations of seals and penguins could be at risk, and I never would have thought about this. So the seals and the penguins, when they go out for food, not just for themselves, but they have their pups and their chicks. They go out and they get the food and they come back and they feed their offspring. This iceberg hitting this island would cause the seals and penguins to have to take a different path to get to their food source because it would be blocking them. It would cause them then to expend more energy than normal to bring the food back to their chicks and pups, which could lead to starvation and eventually death. I never would have thought about that. That is crazy. As for the effect of humans, as the berg breaks up over time, it could threaten fishing operators in the area. Now, this other story, you're not going to be able to verify by looking at the sun. Don't look at the sun. But there's a picture. I'm gonna post it. A vast 500,000 mile wide coronal hole has opened up in the sun's atmosphere. A giant hole in the atmosphere. The area measures over 62 times the diameter of Earth and is now shooting high-speed solar wind toward Earth. So a 500,000 wide coronal hole is shooting solar wind at high speed. And it's supposed to hit Earth tomorrow, resulting in a G1 geomagnetic storm. When such solar activity is directed at the Earth, the storms can potentially disrupt satellite operations, power grids, navigation systems, and radio communications. There may also be spectacular displays of the aurora borealis, caused as the Earth's magnetosphere is disturbed by the solar wind. G1 storms are considered the mildest category. It can still have noticeable effects, particularly in terms of the aurora visibility at higher latitudes. So the picture is crazy. And like I said, I'm going to post it. I'm showing it on the live stream right now. But that is 500,000 wide coronal hole right there in the atmosphere. So that's going to happen tomorrow. Don't know if it's going to cause any problems. It could. But we'll see. 937-457-1290. If you are a Girl Scout, or more than likely you've got a Girl Scout in your family, maybe it's your daughter or your niece or your granddaughter, whatever. We started doing this a couple of years ago. We had some a few weeks ago come on the show and give their Girl Scout cookie pitch, because it is Girl Scout cookie time. And this is a great opportunity for the young women to get some practice speaking publicly. Now, yes, you're not in front of a live audience per se, but there are thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of people that listen to this station and listen to this show. And this is an opportunity for the young women to get an opportunity to come up with a sales pitch, an elevator pitch, if you will, as they call it in the sales biz. So if you have one of these Girl Scouts in your family and they'd like to come on the show and pitch some cookies, whatever flavor, I don't care. I love Thin Mints, but they can try to sell whatever they want to me. I'm always going to buy. I mean, I've already bought, I think, 4 or 5 boxes. So if you'd like to have your Girl Scout call the show, get in touch with me. You can email me at eveningedgetodd@gmail.com. We'll set up a date and time that they can call the show. We even had a young woman in the studio doing it live right here, and she did great. They've all done great. We used to do it where we just sort of solicit and people would call in, and sometimes I think it caught the girls off guard. They didn't know what to do. They were nervous. They weren't sure. But when we schedule it ahead of time, it gives them a little time to practice, which, every salesperson knows. You can't just jump right into it. You got to work on your delivery. So if you're interested, hit me up.
It's the Evening Edge with Todd Hollst.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
He's a good guy, a hero.
Oh, he's a keeper. It's fun listening. It's a good ride, but there's never any real danger.
Give it some time, man. You'll realize.
You'll see. He'll grow on you. Locally grown, seriously funny on WHIO.
Hey, people, let's chill, please. Okay. I've noticed over the last week or so that there have been a number of comments that might be a little off brand. So let's just try to keep things cool.
From the McAfee Heating, Air, and Plumbing Studios. Breathe easy. Choose McAfee. Call today or visit mcair.com. This is WHIO Dayton and WHIO FM Pleasant Hill. All news, all the time.
Warm temperatures are expected to continue through the weekend, while the latest at 7 o'clock. Now back to the Evening Edge with Todd Hollst at 1290 at 95.7 WHIO.
And now for our devoted listeners, back to the show.
The Evening Edge with Todd Hollst.
Call Todd now, 937-457-1290, or message him at Evening Edge Todd.
Locally grown, seriously funny on WHIO.
You are a stupid idiot!
Comes from upbringing. Parents are probably idiots too.
Idiot! Imbecile pig!
Wake up, idiot!
Silly dilly dilly, I'm an idiot. Yeah, that's true.
Back here on the Evening Edge, Monday through Friday, 5 to 7. Well, we're going to end the show tonight with an Idiot of the Week, and there's video. There's video of this idiocy. Not the idiot. The cops are still trying to figure out who did it. But there's video on WHIO.com. In Whitehall, Ohio, 2 sanitation workers had a close call after somebody put a oxygen tank. And I'm guessing it was probably a oxygen tank from someone's breathing unit, you know. They put it in the trash can. One of the big dumpsters that you put out by your street, on the curb. And one of the workers, just doing their job, grabbed this big dumpster and threw it in the back of the garbage truck. He's lucky he took like 3 or 4 steps away from the back of the truck, because all of a sudden, this oxygen tank exploded inside the garbage truck, and trash and shrapnel went flying everywhere. But you can see the video of it on WHIO.com. You can't be throwing stuff like that into a trash can. Have a terrific night. We'll be back tomorrow just after 5. It's Parody Palooza Friday night. We've got an hour show tomorrow night because of UD basketball, so we're just going to bust out some parody songs. Kick off your weekend that way. Have a terrific night. We'll see you tomorrow here on the Evening Edge.
I'm out of ideas.
He's done. It's over. He's finished.
Sorry, buddy. Show's over. Say good night to the bad guy.
Now give me a kiss and say goodnight.
Good riddance, you loony.
All right, folks. Look, if I have to put you over my knee, let's chill. Have a good night, everybody. Work it out.